A cobbler with just a second-hand military uniform, a cobbler could command a squad of soldiers, take over a city hall without shedding a drop of blood, arrest the mayor, and steal the treasury. This might sound like the plot of an old movie, but it was also a real event in the German Empire. It's widely known across Europe. The cobbler in question was a German named Wilhelm Voigt. Voigt was born in 1849 in East Prussia. His father was a drunk and abusive cobbler, and growing up in that kind of environment, Voigt went down the wrong path. At 14, he was jailed for stealing and expelled from school. With nothing else to do, Voigt learned to make shoes from his father. Between 1863 and 1906, Voigt was in and out of prison for crimes like breaking and entering and forging documents. He spent less than 4 years outside of prison during that time. Meanwhile, in the broader world, Prussia's Iron Chancellor, Bismarck, had united Germany through 3 wars: the Danish War, the Austro-Prussian War, and the Franco-Prussian War. In January 1871, the King of Prussia, Wilhelm I, was crowned Emperor of the German Empire at the Palace of Versailles in Paris. From that moment on, militarism became deeply ingrained in the empire. When people thought of Germany, they thought of military uniforms, goose-step marching, and endless parades and drills. The military elite were held in high esteem and given special privileges. At the time, there was a saying among the British: in other countries, the army has the state. In Germany, the state has the army. This atmosphere gave rise to Voigt's scheme to impersonate an officer and con people. During one stint in prison, the prison warden was a veteran of the Franco-Prussian War, nostalgic for his military days. He spent his time making the inmates drill and march, and after a few years, Voigt became very familiar with the German military rules, including officer postures and commands. He began plotting something big. In early 1906, Voigt was released from prison at 57 years old. A prison chaplain recommended he work at a shoe store in Berlin, but after only a few months, the police expelled him from the city because of his criminal record. Voigt pretended to head to Hamburg but secretly stayed in Berlin to plan his next move. He bought a second-hand uniform from a military surplus store, an old captain's uniform from the Prussian 1st Infantry Guard Regiment, the highest-ranking unit in the Imperial Army, known for guarding the Prussian king. Nearly every junker nobleman wore this uniform, and even Emperor Wilhelm II himself had one. Voigt learned from the newspapers that the city hall in Köpenick, a small town southeast of Berlin, had a large sum of cash in its vault. He decided to take it. On the morning of October 16, 1906, Voigt, dressed in his military uniform, went to a royal bathhouse in western Berlin and recruited 11 soldiers, claiming they were on a secret mission. He then took them by tram to Köpenick. Voigt, after over 50 years of life experience, knew how to get these soldiers to follow his orders. He gave each one gold mark for food. The gold mark was the German currency, backed by gold, with each mark containing 0.358423 grams of gold. After the soldiers had eaten and drunk their fill, Voigt gave the signal to occupy the city hall. "The mayor is corrupt. The cabinet has ordered me to arrest him," he declared. Though the city hall had guards, they dared not act in front of imperial soldiers. The soldiers easily took control. Voigt ordered the post office to cut off all phone lines to Berlin for an hour. In the name of the emperor, he arrested the mayor and the finance officer and had them taken to Berlin for questioning. The entire sum of cash, 4,002 gold marks, was confiscated. Voigt then told his soldiers to stay at the city hall while he consulted the emperor, but in reality, he made a quick getaway. The most absurd part of the whole affair was when the mayor asked Voigt, disguised as a captain, to show a search warrant. Voigt simply pointed to the soldiers' bayonets and said, "This is my authority." It's safe to say that without Germany's militaristic obsession, Voigt could never have pulled it off. But Voigt didn't enjoy his success for long. On October 26, he was arrested and sentenced to 4 years in prison by the Berlin District Court. The case quickly spread across Europe. At the time, the great powers were in an arms race, and Britain used the incident to criticize German militarism. Meanwhile, many Germans found Voigt's methods both clever and comical. They thought of him as a genius. Even Emperor Wilhelm II found the whole thing amusing and was quite pleased with how much authority the military held over civilians. He pardoned Voigt. Upon his release, Voigt became a folk hero. He was widely celebrated and began giving speeches, performing, and even published a book. In 1910, Voigt moved to Luxembourg, married a wealthy widow, and became the first person in Luxembourg to own a car. He lived until 1922. Over the years, the Köpenick incident became a popular subject for artistic adaptations and even became a term in the German language, meaning to impersonate authority to gain obedience. There are several similar examples. For instance, at the end of World War II, a 19-year-old German soldier named Harold found an Air Force captain's uniform and impersonated an officer, conning his way through military ranks and committing numerous atrocities, killing over 100 people. However, unlike Voigt's non-violent and ironic con, Harold's actions were far more brutal.